Alright guys, so it's been a really long time since I worked on the 928 and it's been sitting out for a couple months, and well, let's just face it, there's been a couple things in my life that I had to take care of, and now I'm finally going to do it better. So now we're going to pull this thing in the garage and finally start working on it. I got a bunch of footage from this winter that I want to kind of compile to kind of show you what's been going on, and then at the end of the video I will kind of go over what my plans are for the project and give you a little bit of update on what I've done behind the scenes. So back in January I decided that I would make this more of a track focused vehicle. That way I would remove the AC system and any other redundant system I wouldn't need. So in this next clip I decided to pull all the stuff out of the engine bay and simplify the system my best I could.
Alright, so I just learned something new. This right here, part of the AC system, is actually a fuel cooler. I've never heard of such a thing. What I'll have to do is probably make my own custom fuel rail, because I am not putting this back in the car. This particular system doesn't work anyway, and it's just in my way. Alright, I'm running into an issue getting this exhaust manifold to fit. It seems to be that the holes on this are just slightly too small. The inside ones have a slot here, that's not a problem, but these guys seem to be like a millimeter to one side or the other. So I'm going to drill these out ever so slightly just so I have a little bit more tolerance, and that should fix my problem. So we have a bung on the exhaust manifold here. We're not going to be using this now because we're simplifying the emission system. So I'm going to go ahead and weld in here and fill up this hole so we don't have any air leaks.
This particular bolt here was stripped out on that head, so I had to go from, I believe, an M6 to an M8. The alternator and power steering pump I took off in the video, but I have since then decided to put them back on so it'll be easier to go in as an assembly. And then on the back side of the alternator you can see all this new wiring. I did end up making my own loom. It's not 100% perfect, but it works for now. This side's been mainly sorted. I left the leads for the starter. I haven't done those yet. Once we get it in the car, I'll wire it so I know what the correct length is. And then this wire harness goes all the way up. I use these soldering heat shrink butt connectors. They actually work pretty good. I'm very impressed by them. Then I used this little loom protectant and I melted the ends off of it, and it works really well. I began making a connector, however I think I messed up the pins, so once I have everything, have the whole engine installed, then I'll look at cutting that to length and getting it wired all right.
So now that the engine was ready to go, I went ahead and lifted up the transaxle, dropped the car a little bit, and then started making my way over with the engine. Unfortunately, bringing the engine in from the top side did not work. The engine mounts were fixed on the subframe, and it would not allow me to bolt that up while also connecting the transaxle. So ultimately what I had to do was loosen the subframe, connect the transaxle first, and then remount everything in place on the bottom end. And with that, the engine's in the car, ready to go. All we got to do next is put the accessories on and start it. So now we'll forward back to March, where I'll show you a couple more things that I have planned for this project.
Now I did score these 911 turbo twist rims off of Facebook Marketplace for only $200. Got a whole set of 4 of them. They're all the same size. And then my more controversial setup, I like to take a wing and try to see if I can make Active's arrow. I've been prototyping with 3D printing, and I've kind of created a scissor mechanism to allow this to pivot forward and backward. We're going to try making like a chassis mount, so as I step on the brake in my car, it'll actuate forward and give me some extra braking. We're going to try that probably in a later video this summer, so stay tuned for that as well. Alright guys, well thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video.